go.
Dude, earlier today, I was talking with Jacob Collier,
Yeah,
and he told me that you changed his life.
I did?
Yes.
He didn't tell me that.
That's why I'm telling you. I was like, does he know that?
How did I change his life?
When I last was over at Zedd's house, I asked him about patches, synth patches, and he gave me a folder of patches that literally changed my life. And it's all over Volume 4. He gave me a bunch of like gladiator patches that I absolutely love, like serum patches. So yeah, I would just be like, first of all, I love that man, and I hope to see him soon. But also, like, thanks for those patches. And honestly, just yeah, I can't tell him how far those have taken me. It's been super fun, especially for some of the more dancey bits of Volume 4. It's just been like having those like Zedd specific, all that stuff is great fun.
It's crazy that you say that because I've been listening to Jesse Volume 4 a lot, and I've also been listening to Telos a lot, Zedd's newest album, which is nominated for Best Electronic Album. And in those little moments that you just said, I was like, oh, I hear similarity, but I didn't know. I knew you guys knew each other, but I didn't know that he gave you that, folder of patches. That's so great.
He gave me a folder, and it's called Zedd, just the letter Z, and it's just like, thank you so much. And yeah, I will always be grateful for people who want to share those kinds of things, because I mean, as you know, anyone who makes music knows, it's like those that can get you so far.
He used those synth sounds on Jesse Volume 4, which he's now nominated for Album of the Year.
I didn't know that.
At the Grammys.
Really?
Yeah. I told him, I was like,
that's so cool.
Anton's coming over later. And he was like, man, tell him.
No way. I had no idea.
My life.
I remember we were hanging out. Well, we were going to work on music.
Yes.
But we ended up just talking for so long.
Yeah.
And like went down the rabbit hole of everything music. But for a short amount of time when we were in my like makeshift studio, and you got to think about it from my perspective, right? I think I know a lot about music, but this guy is like God. He knows everything there is to know about music, right? So I had my computer set up and I started loading up some patches, some synth patches, and I had a keyboard and he started playing. He was like, whoa, like I could make a song with this right away. I'm like, really? Like, okay, let me show you this. And I gave him another sound. He's like, and like immediately came up with something. It's like, this is unbelievable. I was like, really? I'm just giving you some of the patches I made. That is really not that unbelievable. What you're doing is unbelievable. But to him, that was like crazy, because I guess he probably spends more time being the musical Jesus and genius that he is than like fiddling around with synth sounds. But that was really cool to see. And it's amazing to hear that. That's so cool. I'm really happy.
I wanted to share that with you.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Man, and also I really want the two of you to make a lot of music together.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I love Jacob. He's one of the greatest living musicians of our time.
Yes.
And we have made music together. He's a part of Tangerine Rays, the second song on the album.
Amazing.
I want to say that's what we worked on at the time. The song took a drastically different direction over the course of years.
Yeah.
But that at the very beginning of the song, there's like a little sparkly synth and like a Radioheady kind of vocal. That's him.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So
that's so cool. There's a little Jacob Collier secret sauce in there.
It is. Yeah. And I'm so happy to hear that story. That's so cool.
When Jacob's talking about you giving this folder to him of these synth sounds and stuff, so do you just sit there and make a bunch of sounds, make a bunch of synths that you're going to have as like instruments in and of themselves, and then like even if you're not using them in that moment, or are these like all kind of compilations of things that you've made for intentional songs?
Both. So the way I do it is I make a song, and then if I make any sound that I think is really good, like I just made this perfect snare drum that consists of like 8 layers, I will bounce that out as song name snare.
Yeah.
Right? Or if I have like fills or sweeps or like buildups of some sort, I will bounce them out. Sometimes I'll make a patch that I love. It's like, wow, this reminds me of this, but it doesn't fit the song. I will save it. But my typical process is after I'm done with a song, I have my engineer go through my entire session and bounce out everything that made it. The kick. So it's going to be no gravity kick, no gravity snare, no gravity clap, 128 BPM shaker loop. Like I've recorded almost all shakers. I found this amazing shaker at Guitar Center, and it was like, this is the one. It's like, it was a $3 thing. It's on everything. It's perfect. So like he will bounce all the shakers that I played in all the tempos. So now when I make a song, I don't have to re-record the shaker. I just go through my 6 recorded tempos and just like pick my favorites. So I have this giant Zedd, it's called Ultimate Sample Library. and it has all my samples that made it on all my songs from pretty much day one, separated into single hit samples, loops, fills, everything. So now I don't have to start from scratch.
Right.
I don't even know if I gave Jacob that or whatever. I don't even remember that anymore. But like, I do have these like libraries of everything that I have made. I don't usually have time to sit there and just make random shit for me to one day come back to.
Right.
I don't really do that, but I do save everything that I make that is worthy.
Yes. You got these little life-changing folders for sitting in your hard drive.
You have no idea how happy it makes me to hear that he was able to use it.
Dude,
That's so cool.
Go with Elmo. 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 This is the stuff, man.